Hey everyone, so I thought I'd just do a quick update. We're still up here in the Sitka area, getting ready to head south here in the next couple of days. Rachel had to go on a work trip and I pick her up this evening, and then we'll probably leave tomorrow or the next day. But we've been going through some pretty awful weather up here, 50 to 60 knot winds, really rough seas, and we stayed in a couple anchorages to get out of the wind, but still found its way in there. So I hadn't done much videoing the last few days, or the last about week and a half. So I thought instead I would just do a quick boat tour. I've gotten a couple people asking to give one, so thought since we had been stuck inside for the last week or so through the bad weather, we cleaned up a little bit. And so I'll give you guys a tour of our boat and how we currently have it set up. So she is a diesel duck 462 motor trawler. It can be classified as a motor sailor, but she's primarily a motor trawler. Does have a mast, as you can see here. We have radar up top and one here on top of the pilot house, along with a flare camera for night running and paravanes for stabilization. We'll start up here. So the Gen was on a furling system, and we have a mere cheetah windlass with 3/8 inch chain with a Rockna style anchor, and then of course bollards up to top for tying her off. She has wide decks with nice high handrails. Going down the stanchions are nice and high going down each side. You can walk around the deck fully. We have quite a few fenders up here right now because we are at an anchor. And then have stormproof hatches up here. So you can see they're pretty robust, made for open water cruising. So we work our way along the side here. Take another look up front. That first hatch right there is for the peak, which we'll show you here in a little bit. And then these two hatches right here are above the Salon, which we'll also show you. So we also have pretty good storage up in the front. We keep a lot of cleaning materials, deck washing stuff in these storage boxes up here, these sponsor boxes. So as we continue towards the aft of the boat, here's our paravanes. Better look at our paravanes. I constantly get asked if we fish off this boat using these paravanes, and these are primarily for stabilization, but they work extremely well. Let's come to the aft of the boat. Here's the aft seating area. It's really nice in the summer to help get out of the sun and stuff, get out of the wind. The pilot house blocks a lot of the wind that comes through to the back. Here's our fish that we use for our paravane. Here's our life raft. It's a 6-person life raft. We also have a throw ring sling here in the back. Of course, we keep fuel for our tender. Then on the aft of the boat, we have our davit system with our tender. Nice swim platform back here, although we don't do much swimming up here in Alaska. but it is nice to be able to step off and get onto the tender. Got our grill, of course. Can't go anywhere without a grill. And then here's the port side that you can walk back up to the front. Do have a ladder getting to the top of the pilot house, so you can do any type of work or get up there. We also get up there to watch whales. It's pretty nice. We do use these boxes for storage. We have a blow-up kayak paddle boards. So we keep them in those boxes right there just to keep them out of the weather. But we have plans this coming up here to change this back deck area to make more storage, so stay tuned for that. So we come back around. We use these winches to help hoist the tender up. We have plans to put in winches to help raise and lower the tender, but we'll put those on later. We do have a door that comes out the back here, so you can come from the pilot house right up into this back area right here. So when you're underway, if you want to be outside, it's an easy way to get outside without being exposed to wind and to a spray or anything if we're in some rough weather. Let's come back down and I'll show you the inside, show you the pilot house. Eric Cat 2 is 48 feet long with a draft of 6.5 feet. We also installed 1,000 watts of solar panels on the pilot house and the aft canopy. So walking into the pilot house, we obviously have our captain's chair here, my chair. And then to the left, this is Rachel's work area. She likes to stand when she's working, so this works out perfectly. It's usually our chart table, but we utilize it as a workstation now. And then coming into the pilot house, we got plenty of room for seating up here. We have the smaller table down right now, but as you can see up higher, there's a larger table that when we're eating dinner or whatever up here, we can just lower that larger table down. We take that smaller table off. But we have plenty of seating. And then we do have a freezer. We like freezer space on this boat, that's for sure. We bought this right before our family came up here to do fishing, and thankfully we did, because we filled that completely full of salmon and halibut. It is blocking the back door, but eventually we are going to remove that freezer out. And as we're looking to the bow here, we have a compass right there in the middle. Of course, I got to keep all my photography and drones and stuff handy, because there's always a lot to look at and see and film. And then this is the helm. We have two Ray Marine chart plotters. We try to keep everything that has a backup. So we have two chart plotters, two radars, two depth sounders. We also have two radios, just in case anything breaks. Right now we keep this curtain up. It's probably about 50 degrees outside right now. But what we do is we have a diesel stove down there, which I'll show you here in a minute. And we keep this curtain up to keep the heat down below in the salon area where we normally hang out. But in the summer, we don't have that up. Here's another angle of the pilot house. And coming from the pilot house down into the salon area. So we have our settee on the starboard side and a day bed or seating on the port side of the table. We do have a stove, a diesel stove. It keeps it pretty warm in here with the curtain down, so the heat stays down here below. Got a few portals on either side. And there's those hatches up above that we saw. Of course, lots of storage. We also have 2 drawer freezers right here. And moving to the bow of the boat. This is my workstation right here. And on the left-hand side, or on the port side, we have another bathroom. We do have a cat on board. And this is where we keep his litter box. It could be used as a wet head, but we don't. We have a designated shower in the aft of the boat, so we don't use it as a wet head. And then here's the peak. We have another freezer right there. Like I said, we like freezers on this boat. We do a lot of provisioning when we can, so we can stay out for months on end. And then we have 2 bunks. This is usually made into our storage area where we put a lot of stuff, but plenty of room, as you see. And then behind the door here, if I can get back here, we do have more storage here. And then that is a waterproof bulkhead there. A dog-eared door. It's a metal door. And then coming from the peak towards the back of the boat, this is our galley right here. We have plenty of spice racks, really big into spices. And more storage here, and then there's access to the side of the engine right there through that hatch. But that door right there goes into the engine room, which we'll get into that here in a minute. We do have a double sink. It's very nice. Pretty good counter space. We have a gimbaled stove, also with a vent. That comes in very handy to keep a lot of humidity out of the boat. And then we have a fridge with a crisper here on the bottom. So we continue moving to the aft of the boat. We have another bulkhead, waterproof bulkhead here, with a steel door with dog ears on it. And we have a lot of food storage here and here, though we have a lot of pans and pots and stuff in the lower one. But coming aft, this is the master stateroom here. It does have a walk-around bed, which is very nice, especially when you're making the bed. And then we have these shelves right here that also come in very handy. We also keep our scooters up here, which is nice whenever you're at a port and there's a long walk or a store you want to get to that's quite a ways away. But lots of storage. We have a lot of the portals closed right now, but we can let in a lot of light if we want to. But when you're up here in Alaska during the summer and it doesn't get dark until like 1 o'clock in the morning, we tend to have them closed, but we can start opening them up now, I guess. And then we have hanging closets on either side if you need them, and of course tons of storage. And then this is our ensuite here. We have a shower, the portal, and then it has its own head. Which is very nice. So one more walkthrough. This is the master cabin. And walking forward into the galley. And then here on our right is the engine room. Which is a stand-up engine room. So I'm nearly 6 feet tall. So if you're probably about 6'2", 6'3", you probably have room in here. But she has a John Deere 4045, which is around 145 horsepower, which can move her at about 6 to 6.5 knots. It's our cruising speed. Holds around, I would say, advertised as 2,000 gallons, but I would suggest, or I think it's more around 17 to 1,800 gallons of fuel, and she burns about 1 to 1.5 gallons per hour. And then hot water, of course, got to have hot water. Lots of tools and stuff. Hot water maker on board, so we don't have to go to a harbor or anything for water. But that's the engine room. Then moving forward, back into the salon area with the peak in the front there, double bunk. And then a lot of our electronics are through a Victron energy system. There's Mr. Riley. And then back up into the pilot house. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. We're getting ready to leave Sitka, like I said before. So stay tuned for that, and we'll take you with us. We're going to start heading south. There's a couple interesting stops that we're going to make, at least on the way. But we'll take you with us and hope you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. Do you think you could live in a space like this? Leave me a comment below and let me know. If you like this video, please think about subscribing.